Hey, what's up YouTube? Okay, so in today's video, what are we looking at? We've got 7 basically cable exercises for chest. Why are we looking at this today? Well, have you ever been in that situation before where you walk into the gym and it's literally packed? Like you can't even move in there, everybody is on everything. You can't do your workout that you want to do, and you've got to kind of quickly come up on the spot for different exercises that you could swap in for your normal exercises, your normal routine. Well, I think this is where this video will help you. So what I'm going to start doing is different exercises, different body parts for different pieces of equipment. So if you do walk in and the only thing you can get on, like today's episode, is cables, then you're going to be set. You know that you can do your chest and tris on your Monday. You're just going to have to do it slightly differently, and unfortunately you're going to have to skip out on bench Mondays. I know it's a sad thought, I know we all love doing bench on Mondays, but sometimes it's going to have to come down to it and you might have to not do it. So with that said, let's have a look at what we got today. So effectively, it's just going to be 7 different variations that I like personally and I think do a really good job of helping people build their chest. This will primarily be for muscle building, it's not really for strength. I mean, if you are a power athlete or a strongman or something and you need to get on the bench press, then this probably isn't going to help you that much. But for the rest of us who are just trying to put on some muscle, this will help quite well. So, what's the first one? The first one, I figured we'd go for something that is going to cover us for our bench press if we can't get on there. So that's going to be the cable press. So the cable press is really good because you're going to be able to basically emulate how you do a bench press, either with dumbbells, really more with dumbbells, but also it does the same movement pattern really as you do with a barbell. So for this one, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to set it up just above shoulder height on both sides. You're going to grab your cables and you're going to step out. Then what you're going to do is you're going to keep your chest up. You want, obviously, basically if you try and push your chest up, kind of really more pronounce it and pull your shoulders back, then when you press, it forces your chest to work more and it takes the front delts out of the equation a little bit more. So this helps us get a better contraction on the chest. Next, what you're going to do is, once you've stepped out, you have your arms in the right position, which should be 70 degrees, roughly 80, 60, whatever you want, away from your body. You're then literally just going to press out and bring your hands together. So you want to be doing this motion, and that basically, with your shoulders back and your chest out, helps to force the chest to contract as hard as possible. And then obviously you want to really slow on the way back down. So there are a few other ways you could emulate the bench press on the cables. So obviously that's with 2 handles. You could also get the bar attachment for the cables and do like a standing, obviously, bench press more because you've got the bar on there. Or you can also do that if you set the cables right down to the bottom, you get a bench over, lay on the bench, and then obviously you can set yourself up and you can do bench press with the cables actually on a bench. So it's up to you which one you want to do. In my opinion, the standing one's a little bit better because sometimes when you set the cables all the way down to the bottom, getting underneath it is a bit harder. Or if it's one where it's a bit higher, then there's a bit of slack, so you don't really start to push until you're like here. But that is still an option for you to do as well. Okay, so the second one we're going to look at is, obviously it's got to be on this list if we're talking about cables. It's the fly, naturally. Not the fly over there on the wall, I'm talking about an actual cable fly, obviously. So flies are good because they're going to allow us to basically get a really good stretch on the chest. You do have to be careful again with most of these exercises that your front delts are not going to really overtake the exercise, because you allow your delts, basically your shoulders, to pull forwards a loads on the fly. It will take over and you will be training your front delts more than you will your chest. But as long as you're kind of keeping your shoulders back when you're doing it, really pronouncing your chest, then that's going to allow your chest to get worked better. It takes the front delts out of the equation. So with this one, you're going to want to again set it up to the same position it was last time, just above shoulder height. You're going to want them out here, slight bend in the elbow, step forward. Then once you've got the tension on the cables, you're then going to bring it in, really, really pronounce the chest and squeeze and pin those shoulders back, and then lower it back down slowly, and then repeat that process. Okay, so the next one, the third one, is going to be the cable crossover. So this is basically taking the same exercise we just did, the flies, but when you get to here, you're going to go through and you're going to basically cross over that midline. This is good because basically it forces us to contract the chest even further, because the chest doesn't just contract to here, it can go all the way here, and you'll get a much harder contraction across the chest, which helps to break it down even further. And it's just a really good exercise if you're looking for something new, or as I said, if you haven't got anything but cables. Okay, so the next one, I thought I'd change it up a little bit, you know, set a different pace. So we're going to go for an isometric one this time. That's going to be the cable squeeze. So obviously this one, similar to the fly, you're going to step out, and then what you do when you get to here, you're just going to hold it as hard as you can. People that are even harder, you can do the cable squeeze in the crossover, so you can bring it right through so that the chest is as contracted as possible and hold it there. That's up to you. But this one's going to really make it hard. Obviously, holding the tension through the muscle for a longer period of time is going to help it break down further. And again, it's going to help us get that super big ripped chest. You know, like the Crimson Chin, obviously. The Crimson Chin's got a big chin, but he's got a massive chest as well. So, just saying. Whew. Okay, so the fifth one we're going to look at is going to be the high cable fly. So this one's going to allow us to hit the top of the chest if that incline bench is being used. What you're going to do is you're just going to obviously again pronounce the chest, pin the shoulders back. Sometimes people want to set the cables a little bit lower than shoulder level because they find that bringing it up, dependent on how high you're bringing it, it finds it easier. Some people actually bring it down to hip height, and then when they're doing it from there, they can bring it right the way up. So it's up to you and what you find more comfortable and what you find works the chest a lot better. But it's a really good exercise. It's going to allow us to obviously hit a different part of the chest rather than just hitting the midsection. And also, yeah, it's just, you know, it's going to cover you if you can't get on that incline bench. Okay, so number 6 is going to be the low cable fly. So if you can't get on that dip bench, that decline bench or whatever, this is going to allow you to fill that gap in your training. So what you're going to do is you're going to set the cables up a little bit higher this time. So depending again on kind of what you find easier. Some people set it all the way to the top, some people set it a little bit lower. It's dependent on what's easier for you, but you want it higher than your shoulders. Then what you're going to do is you're going to step forward, and then basically same position as the fly, but you're bringing it down. So you're really trying to squeeze and you're really trying to bring your hands all the way down. You can't really see on this camera because it stops here. But you want your hands to come all the way down so that you're squeezing and it's forcing the bottom of the chest to work. Because it follows, that's how it works, naturally. Okay, so number 7 is going to be the incline bench hold. And kind of move them down. I didn't really have the proper name for this one, but effectively you're going to want to be set up on an incline bench so that when you sit down and you have your handles, there's tension on the cable. Then what you're going to want to do is a normal fly. You're going to bring it in, squeeze and hold. Then what you're going to do is you're going to bring it all the way up, still holding the cables. Bring it all the way down. Bring it back to the middle. And then bring it back out again. This is good for 2 reasons. One, we're on a bench, so when you're on a bench you tend to be able to load it up a little bit more because the cables aren't pulling you back, because your back is obviously on the back of the bench, which is holding you still. So you can put a bit more weight on this one. And the second best bit about it really is that it's a isometric, so it's a hold, so our muscles are under tension for longer, and you have that movement up and down, which allows the rest of the chest, so the upper and the lower, to get a little bit of action in there as well. So this one's an all-round great exercise, and that's why it's at my number 7. Okay, so I did say I had 7 exercises, but I have one superset at the end, which I think is a really good one. So this one's just basically going to be going from high to low, and what I mean by that is the first set you're going to do is you're going to be doing it up here. So you want your cables a little bit lower, and you're doing as many until failure. Then quickly move your cables up on both sides so that they're shoulder height. Step forward and do as many flies as you can. Obviously still with good form, still keeping our shoulders back, still keeping our chest pronounced. As many flies as you can for the middle. Then you're going to set your cables high and you're going to go through as many flies as you can down low. And trust me guys, that is a great way to finish your chest portion of your chest and thighs workout, or you know, just a really great basically burnout for your chest. It will ruin you. 1-2 sets of that and you'll be done 100%. Cool, so with that said, that was a really nice episode for me to do because it was quite short, but hopefully that's informative for you guys. I will have, again, like I usually do, visual representations of how you should be doing the exercise, but they're quite straightforward. And hopefully you guys won't be in a situation next time when you go into a gym and you only have the cables and you don't know how to do any exercises, or you don't know how to, you know, complete your workout. Cool, so with that said, I hope you guys enjoyed it. As I said, leave your comments in the comment section below. And yeah, I hope you have a nice day and hope to see you in the next video.